how important it is to have not just the living water, but energizing water. And we are asking you that you'll open up our minds and our understanding. Be with each device, be with the internet connection. We ask that you will please let your Holy Spirit take full charge, and the angels of the living God be with not just our presenters, but our listeners. We're asking, Father, in the name of Jesus, that you'll be with Brother Bob, and you see what situations he's dealing with currently. And we are blessing your name that he is still going to be able to join us today to speak of stress, distress, and eustress. Now, Lord, into your hands we commit the rest of this program, and we ask your blessings so that all will be done and said to your name's honor and glory and the benefit of mankind. Thank you for hearing, and thank you for answering in Jesus' name. Amen. Now, what we do know of Dr. Ephraim is that she's a woman of God. She loves gardening, and very shortly in the month of June, she will be presenting on gardening. And for all of you who, whether you live in an apartment, you have a whole plot of land, or you're just doing it in pots, that's coming up. But today, Dr. Ephraim, who loves the Lord, loves people, will be sharing with us on energizing water. She is a certified gospel medical missionary, and she's endeavoring to share the gospel through the health message with as many persons who will listen. She is married with children, and she has a wonderful grandchild, and we are thanking God for her family that has lent her to us all these weeks that we've been doing the virtual seminar. And so without further ado, I turn over now to Dr. Sylvia Ephraim.
Thank you so much, Sister Spence, for those kind words and encouraging words this morning. You know, I'm normally one that likes to encourage persons. Please link the link. There is someone out there that you know, someone who may be hydrated. It could be physically, it could be spiritually. Someone that needs energizing water, or the water that God gives freely. Please invite your family, invite your neighbors, invite even your enemies. They too need to learn about energizing water. So today, as you know, I'll be speaking on one of the laws of health, energizing water. First, before I go into the topic, I will share with you our disclaimer. The health information in these lectures are for general education and is not intended to substitute for any medical advice. No medical diagnosis, cure, or treatment is provided. So exactly what is health? Health is a great treasure. It is the richest possession that mortals can have. Wealth, honor, or learning is dearly purchased, if it be at the loss of the vigor of health. None of these attainments can secure happiness of health if wanting. And that's from Christian Education, page 16. We teach from three perspectives: the spirit of prophecy, the Bible, spirit of prophecy, and good science. Now, all science is not good science. And many times we will hear persons say, follow the science. I am here to tell us, only science that aligns with God's word is considered good science. The curse causeless shall not come. Proverbs 26.2 part B tells us that. And in Ministry of Healing, page 127, it tells us, disease never comes without a cause. So what exactly is the definition of disease? Disease is an effort of nature to free the system of conditions that results from the violation of the laws of health. So in other words, when we are sick, there's a reason. It is something that caused that sickness. So what are the laws of health? Pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power. These are the true remedies. So you see, we serve an awesome God. Not only did he create us, but he gave us the laws of health because he wants us to prosper and to be in good health. So he gave us all the remedies that we need. And he reminds us in his words that in Exodus 15:26, where it says, if thou, and this is the Lord speaking, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I, meaning the Lord, will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. So you see, we serve a God who is willing, ready, and able to heal us, but he gave us conditions. We have to keep his commandments and all of his statutes. And he promises that he will put none of these diseases upon us that was brought upon the Egyptians. Now we know that God is true to all of his promises because he's not like man that he can lie. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Genesis 1, verses 6 to 7.
So most people, when they're going through.
Which water did God give us to drink? In health and in sickness, pure water is one of heaven's choicest blessings. Its proper use promotes health. It is the beverage which God provided to quench the thirst of animals and man. Drunk freely, it helps to supply the necessities of the system and assists nature to resist disease. So we can clearly see here that pure water is so important. It is a blessing. It helps to keep us in good health. But the question is today, how many of us are still dehydrated? Which water did God give us to drink? But many have never learned by experience the beneficial effects of the proper use of water, and they are afraid of it. Water treatments are not appreciated as they should be, and to apply them skillfully requires work that many are unwilling to perform. But none should feel excused for ignorance or indifference on this subject. There are many ways in which water can be applied to relieve pain and check disease. All should become intelligent in its use in simple home treatments. Mothers especially should know how to care for their families in both health and sickness. Water is one of God's means for healing the sick. One cannot be free from disease without pure water to drink. If those who are afflicted would assist nature in her efforts by the use of pure soft water, much suffering could be prevented. But many, instead of doing this and seeking to remove the poisonous matter from the system, take a more deadly poison into the system to remove a poison already there. And this is from the servant of the Lord, Ellen G. White. Thousands have died for want of pure water and pure air who might have lived. And I want us to ponder that. Thousands have died for want of pure water and pure air who might have lived. These blessings they need in order to become well. If they would become enlightened and let medicine alone and accustom themselves to outdoor exercise and to air in their houses summer and winter. It is important for us to get pure air. It is important for us to go outside and exercise in the pure, fresh air. It is important, even during winter, for us to make sure that our windows are cracked and we're letting some pure, fresh air in. We do not want to have foul, tainted air trapped in our homes to make us sick. So it's important that we have air circulating through our homes, and not just air, but pure, fresh air. 75% of the Earth's surface is water. 98% is salty ocean water, and 2% is fresh water. Now, just seeing those percentages is telling us how important water is. 75% of the Earth's surface is water. 98% is salty ocean water, and 2% is fresh water. Now, we all know, and we have heard this growing up, that the human body is made up of mainly water. And we would hear this in biology. For the fetus, it's 100% water. For a newborn baby, it's 80% water. For a normal adult, it's 70 to 80%. And of course, as you get older, the elderly person, it's 50% water. Now, we can see here that the human body is made up of water and needs water all over the human body. It's needed by the brain to manufacture hormones and neurotransmitters. It's needed to form saliva so that we can have digestion. It keeps our mucosal membranes moist. It regulates body temperature through sweating and respiration. It allows body cells to grow, reproduce, and survive. It also acts as a shock absorber for brain and spinal cord. It flushes body waste, mainly in urine. It converts foods to components needed for survival during the digestion process. It lubricates the joints. And water is the major component of most body parts. And it also helps to deliver oxygen all over the body. Every drop of water is a gift of redeeming love. Men are indebted to God for it. It is one of the doctors provided by God. It helps nature to keep the body well. Water is the best liquid to cleanse the tissues. It helps remove poisons from the system. It is within the reach of all and is very inexpensive. And that's the beautiful thing about the God we serve. You know, his doctors, they're inexpensive. And the things provided, the laws of health as remedies, they are accessible to all. Doesn't matter which part of the world you are. We can all find water. And we can see how important water is to the human body. Fluid input, ways in which you get water daily. Of course, we get water through eating our fruits and our vegetables. And yes, we get water through bathing. Every time we take a bath, at least 2 cups of water enter our system. And we have to drink water as well, so that we can be hydrated, so that our cells can be nourished, so that our bodies can work well. So how should you drink water? And this is important for us to note. 1 to 2 mouthfuls at a time. The cells will absorb and be properly hydrated. We do not need to gobble down our water, because when we do this, we would increase the intraocular eye pressure and affect the eyes. And also, it would cause us to go to the bathroom too often. Because you see, when we gobble down the water, it's just a flush. It's going straight through us. And that is not good. We want our cells to be hydrated. So we take 1 to 2 mouthfuls at a time. And that is the proper way for us to be hydrated. So how should you drink water? Many make a mistake in drinking cold water with meals. Taken with meals, water diminishes the flow of the salivary glands. And the colder the water, the greater the injury to the stomach. Ice water or ice lemonade drunk with meals will arrest digestion until the system has imparted sufficient warmth to the stomach to enable it to take up its work again. And that's from the Review and Herald, July 29, 1884. Now, we should be drinking room temperature water, because when we drink the cold water, we're stopping the process of digestion that is supposed to be taking place. The body is going to wait to warm that cold water that we just drank. And it's going to stop the digestion process from happening. And also it can lead to our food fermenting with that wait for the water to warm, that cold water that we have partaken of. You know, it's important for us to drink water at room temperature so that the body can make use of it and so that we do not cause injury to our bodies and to stop the digestive process. Hot drinks are also debilitating, and besides, those who indulge in their use become slaves to the habit. Food should not be washed down. No drink is needed with meals. Eat slowly and allow the saliva to mingle with the food. And you see, here is where we go wrong. We think we need to wash things down. No, eating and drinking is injurious to our organs. And the other thing that I did not mention with the cold water is that what we are doing, if we're eating a fatty meal, we are solidifying the fat, which is not good. And we can be causing blockage in our bodies as well. So again, the more liquid there is taken into the stomach with the meals, the more difficult it is for the food to digest. For the liquid must first be absorbed. Do not eat largely of salt. Give up bottled pickles. Keep fiery spiced food out of your stomach. Eat fruit with your meals, and the irritation which calls for so much drink will cease to exist. But if anything is needed to quench thirst, pure water, drunk some little time before, or after the meal, is all that nature requires. Never take tea, coffee, beer, wine, or any spirituous liquors. Water is the best liquid possible to cleanse the tissues. So liquid output. Approximately 10 glasses of water are eliminated from the body daily through the kidneys, the lungs, the skin, and of course, our GI tract or gastrointestinal tract. So we need to understand that fluid is also being eliminated. 10 glasses, we have 5.5 at the kidneys, 2 from the lungs, 2 from the skin, and 0.5 from the GI tract. Conditions that will cause you to lose water. 1, if you have diabetes, you will have frequent urination. If you're suffering from a high fever, you're losing water. If you have diarrhea, you're losing water as well. If you're doing physical hard work, of course, you're going to perspire and sweat, so you're losing water. Any activity that increases the body sweat, you are losing water. Also, dry air. If the air is dry, it causes us to lose water as well. If you're vomiting, having your menstruation, breastfeeding, high protein foods and salt and sugar intake, you're going to lose water. And high vitamin and supplement intake. Because of course, if you're taking supplement, you're going to go to the bathroom frequently to urinate. So in all these processes, your body is losing water. Effects of dehydration. Our lungs must be moist in order to take in oxygen and excrete carbon dioxide. Dehydration thickens the blood and puts a strain on the heart and arteries. Infants and the frail elderly are especially vulnerable. And that is why we all should know that if it gets very hot, we would hear that we are often told to check on the elderly, make sure that they're given water. Because of course they can become dehydrated, and that's not good. Because remember, as you get older, 50% of the body is water. If you're losing that water, you can become dehydrated very easily. Also, the gastrointestinal infections are primarily responsible, and dehydration diminishes physical and mental performance. So we're going to look at types of water. Tap water. Water directly from your faucet, treated with lime and or chlorine. May or may not be suitable for drinking. Used for household chores. And many times we have to be careful with the tap water. And I love to tell persons, get your water tested. It's important for us to know, based on the zip code that we are living in, what contaminants would be available in our area in terms of water. Get your water tested. Know what type of water you have so that you will be able to do what is best for you. Mineral water naturally contains minerals obtained from ground sources. Example, calcium, magnesium, manganese. The component of mineral water can vary from brand to brand. Some may have more minerals or less, and the water has a salty taste. Now, some persons would get up and say, oh, mineral water is good for you. But sometimes we have to be so careful because then the minerals in the water is too much. Okay? And sometimes it may be too less. Spring water, and this is water that springs out of the ground. It's used for drinking, but contains magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. Well water. Water pulled from ground water and gathered in a well that is dug. It is then brought to the surface for use. May have an abundance of specific minerals such as iron, sulfur, copper, calcium, magnesium, etc. Some, but not all of these, can have a negative impact on your home plumbing and fixtures, possibly your health, your water's taste, and even your hair. Now, I personally have well water, but one of the things that I did was to get someone from the government to come in and to test my water to see exactly what I'm dealing with in terms of minerals and contaminants. Here is the thing that can tell us if our water is filled with iron and sulfur. If we see that our septic is getting scum and it's a colored scum, you see that reddy color, or if it looks green, you know for sure that the mineral content is too high. And the sulfur also will give your water that egg-like smell. It will have an odor. So when you see these things and you realize that your water has a high smell, you know that the mineral content in your water is too high. So what I did after having that test done, I put in a whole house filtration system to filter my water to make sure that the content is not too high or too low, and also to put in a water softener system to make sure that I'm not dealing with hard water, because hard water dries the skin. It makes the skin itchy and what we would term as scaly. Also, it makes the hair brittle and it would break very easily. And I know as women, we don't want our hair to break. So we want to make sure that we have the right type of water. Also, the other thing that I did, because you can never be too safe, right? So the other thing that I did was to put in a 15-stage filtration filter on my showers as well, so that if there is anything in terms of contaminants, that I have the charcoal carbon filter filtering the showers as well. And you can do added ones as well. I even bought added ones for my kitchen as well, for my kitchen faucet, because it's important to make sure that the water that we're using, that the water is pure, the water is fresh, and the water is clean. So purified water. Purification treatment in a plant. Bacteria, contaminants, and dissolved solids are removed. You can install a water purifier at home. Example, deionization, reverse osmosis, or carbon filtration that I just mentioned. Sparkling water. Water that has added carbon dioxide, which makes it fizzy, just like sodas. Now, if we're not supposed to be drinking sodas, should we be drinking sparkling water? Now, God made us in such a way that we breathe in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. Why is it we want to go and drink something with carbon dioxide added? Isn't carbon dioxide considered a waste? Just something for us to think about. Water that has gone through a distillation process in which water is boiled and the resulting steam is then cooled, condensed, and then transformed back into water. Water that has gone through a distillation process where this happens, that is how it is transformed back to water. And again, we might probably say, oh, distilled water is good for us. You know, if I tell persons what I use distilled water for, distilled water, when we have a car and we have the battery and we have issues where we may need some water, what type of water do we use? We do not use the ordinary water. We use the distilled water. Distilled water can later lead to problems in our bodies. It's injurious to our organs because it allows the body to get rid of mineral deposits, which it cannot use in organic minerals. But here is the problem. The distilled water can affect our kidneys because such mineral deposits can lodge itself in the kidneys, joints, and arteries. Distilled water lightens the load of the kidneys. Yes, but again, it's not a healthy water for us to drink. Yes, it may lighten the load, but it can still also lead to problems as well because of the fact that these deposits can lodge in the kidneys. It all depends on the deposits. Sometimes the deposits are large, they lodge there and they're not moving. So then we end up with situations, right? So we have to be very careful. So what about alkaline water? And this is the water where we have a lot of discussions that would go on and on. Many persons believe that alkaline water is good. So what is alkaline water? Ionized water, Kangen water, etc. Water that has been processed. Water that has an increased pH level anywhere from 8 to 9 and above. And that is why it is called alkaline, because as we know, 7 is neutral on the pH scale. But when we hit 8 and 9, we're going alkaline. So claims of alkaline water. Alkaline water with a pH level of 8.8 may help soothe acid reflux, neutralizes the acidity in our body by lowering excessive acidic content in the stomach and gastrointestinal tract. Ultra hydrating. But these claims are not scientifically proven. And I will tell you this, the alkaline water would only soothe acid reflux for a while, and then after you're back to square one, still faced with acid reflux. And prolonged usage of alkaline water, and I've seen this in a friend of mine's family. She was a big believer of the alkaline water. And every time, Dad, did you drink your water? And it was all alkaline water. And here is what happened. Dad's kidneys went bad. Dad is on dialysis. Mom's kidneys are going. Her cousin as well, because they all believed in this alkaline water. Kidneys went bad. The cousin eventually passed away. And mom now is looking to go on dialysis. Again, I would tell persons, do not take anything that you have heard or seen by just listening. It's important for us to do our own research, and it's important for us to consult our great physician, our Lord and Savior. Claims of alkaline water. Boosts immunity. Contains various minerals like magnesium and calcium. has many potent antioxidants that help prevent the growth of cell-damaging free radicals in the body, reduces aging process, reverse cancer, reverse arthritis. Negative effects of alkaline water. Normal cells die under extreme alkaline conditions. A study published in the Journal of Biological Chemistry found that alkalosis, rising cellular pH, causes alkaline-induced cell death as a result of altering mitochondrial function. Alkaline water negative effects continue. Significantly alter the absorption of iron, calcium, folate, and protein. In animal studies, cause growth retardation due to poor nutrient absorption from the gut. Decreases calcium absorption affecting brain, gut, muscle, and vitamin D production. And here is the other thing that happened to my friend. She had problems with her teeth. They realized that not only the bones were receding in her gum line, but also her teeth, they were getting weak. So we have to be very careful. Our gut needs to have some degree of acid to break down protein. So when we are making everything alkaline, we are actually interfering with the process of digesting protein, the absorption of iron, calcium, folate. And that is why it is so important for us to do our research before we become gullible human beings and go with the flow of what we see society is pushing. Also, prolonged use can increase enzymes that damages muscles around the heart. Metabolism abnormalities, metabolic alkalosis edema, mental confusion, and hypertension. It also opens the door for parasites in the intestines. It burdens the kidneys. Normally, kidneys eliminate bicarbonate ions from the body, but with heavy alkaline water usage, it fails to excrete all the bicarbonate ions, and which leads to metabolic alkalosis. If you have kidney problems, do not, and I repeat, do not use alkaline water. Acidic body. Animal foods are highly acidic. Plant foods are moderate to low in acidity. The human body can work naturally with plant foods without causing problems. Can the body be too alkaline? The human body needs to maintain a pH of 7.35 to 7.45. Alkaline water or alkaline supplements can unnaturally elevate this level. So here is nature's way when it comes to water, and we can see how good water is. We have groundwater and we have surface water. And here is the cycle. We have evaporation taking place because of the sunlight. And of course, it evaporates, it goes into the clouds. The clouds holds the water, which is condensation, and then it's going to let out the water as rain, and we have precipitation. That water is coming right back to the earth. So we can see here it's a cycle, right? We have the rock deep percolation, we have the rock deep percolation, we have the groundwater, surface water, evaporation because of the sunlight. Of course, we have the water condenses in the clouds, and then we have precipitation. So we have an ongoing cycle of water being lifted from the ground and water coming right back to the ground. So what is pure soft water? What is a definition of pure? I should eat sparingly, thus relieving my system of unnecessary burden, and should encourage cheerfulness and give myself the benefits of proper exercise in open air. I should bathe frequently and drink freely of pure, soft water, free from anything of a different, inferior, or contaminating kind, free from extraneous matter. And that's what pure is. It's unmixed, unalloyed, unadulterated, unblended, uncontaminated, sterling, solid, refined, 100% clarified, clear, filtered, distilled. So what is a definition of water? A colorless, transparent, odorless liquid which forms the seas, lakes, rivers, and rain, and is the basis of fluids of living organisms. And the synonym for water is Adam's ale. And this was taken, the definition, from the Oxford Dictionary. So what is a soft water? Natural or treated water that does not contain a significant amount of dissolved minerals, such as compounds of calcium or magnesium. So what is a soft water? This is water that produces copious lather with a little amount of soap or detergent and does not form scales in boilers, heaters, and kettles. So anytime we see scums being formed in our kettles and our boilers, we know that our water is not soft water. And that is why we're getting the scales. If we see that our soap is not giving us good lather, we know that it is not soft water. It is, however, linked to a higher incidence of heart or coronary diseases. So you see, when we're not even using the soft water, we can become sick as well. Filtered rainwater is perfectly unobjectionable as a drink, and an expenditure of from $5 to $20 in the purchase of a filter would secure to any family in this land the means of purifying all the water they might need for drink and for cooking purposes. So it's important that we invest. Filters are not that expensive, and we can get the good results that we need. What does Dr. Jackson mean by purity? By purity, I mean, and this is Dr. Jackson, Laws of Life, April 1860, freedom from impregnation by mineral substances or earthly salts, or the infusion of vegetable matter, either or all of which render it more or less unfit for external or internal application. Thousands have died for want of pure water and pure air who might have lived. And this was said by the servant of the Lord, Ellen G. White. Soft water at Paradise Valley. And this is the servant of the Lord speaking. I spent 3 weeks at the Paradise Valley Sanitarium, but was sick all the time. I contracted a severe cold on my way down there. In order that the others in the building might not be exposed, I kept very closely to my own room. The day before I left, Brother and Sister Richardson insisted on seeing me, that they might tell me of the many advantages that Jamaica possesses for sanitarium work. I certainly hope that this field may be entered by earnest laborer. I shall not attempt to tell you what Brother and Sister Richardson told me, for I was sick at the time and could not hear all they said. So those of us who are from Jamaica and we're wondering what we can do, it's a place that have many advantages for the opening up of sanitariums for sanitarium work. So it's something for us to think about. It's a field that is ripe. It's a field for the taking. So you can become collaborers with Christ by opening up sanitariums in Jamaica. You will be glad to know that we have obtained an ample supply of water from the Paradise Valley Sanitarium. The scarcity of water was the one thing against the place. Some time ago, workmen began digging a well on the lower part of the sanitarium land. They went down 80 feet, and one evening, Brother Palmer came to my room to tell me that a stream of water as large as his hand was running into the well. The next morning early, he and Willie came to my room to tell me that there was 14 feet of water in the well. The well is soft and pure. The water is soft and pure, sorry. This well is a treasure more valuable than gold or silver or precious stones. So this is to show us how important pure, soft water is. That it is actually valuable. Having a well where you're getting pure, soft water is more valuable than gold or silver or precious stones, because pure, soft water can keep you healthy. Gold, silver, or precious stones do not. Now that water has been secured, the sanitarium will, with the blessing of God, prove a success. There will be water enough for domestic and irrigation purposes. There are a number of olive trees on the place, and these can now be saved. Benefits of soft water. The quality of water to be used. Water to be of the highest benefit when used either by the healthy or the sick should be pure and soft. By purity, I mean freedom from impregnation by mineral substances or earthly salts or the infusion of vegetable matter, either or all of which render it more or less unfit for external or internal application. There never was a greater mistake in the use of an agent whose natural and ordinary effect is to promote human health than is made by those who are led to believe that water impregnated with earthly and medicinal substances is more beneficial than water which is entirely free from them. Hence the popular belief that to wash the body in medicated water or to use it as a drink is superior to the use of pure water, leads to most doleful results. Water, therefore, which is to be used for bathing or for drinking purposes, should be as free from all substances which do not enter essentially into its composition as it is possible to obtain it. Hence, in addition to its purity, it should be soft. Benefits of soft water on and in the human body. Now, on or in the human body, it relieves constipation. It acts as a solvent, also a tonic, and gently invigorates, has gentle invigoration effects on the mucous surfaces. So it keeps those surfaces moist that needs to be kept moist or lubricated. Soft water on the skin in its healthy conditions is soft and velvety to the touch, feels nicely developed as if it were covered with oil and then rubbed with the softest material till it is polished like mahogany. Hands are soft, the skin pliable and smooth. Bathe with it, and you will see the difference on your skin and the organs beneath it. And I can tell you, when you bathe in soft, pure water, you can tell the difference right away. First thing, your skin is not dry. Secondly, you don't need to put too much of anything on your skin, whether you're using an oil, because I like to use an oil to make sure that I trap in the moisture. And my favorite oil, which is very moisturizing, is the apricot oil, because it keeps the skin just as moist. So I like to make sure that I use that because it goes into the skin easily to begin with. It's not putting a film on your skin. And that is why it's my first choice when it comes to, putting anything on the skin. Horsemen get soft water for their horse to drink. Horses will refuse to drink hard water because the taste is different, and wait until they return home to drink soft water. The hair of the horse has a glossy, sleek appearance, making it easier for grooming. Now, the horse is an animal, and if the horse is refusing to drink hard water, why should we as human beings use hard water? For one, it has a slightly different taste. Sometimes it has an odor, like I was expressing. So the horse can already tell that it tastes different, and they would not drink that water until they're given soft, pure water. Because also it keeps the hair nice and glossy. You see a horse and it has the nice, glossy, sleek look. The hair is so shiny, looks nice. And it makes it easier for grooming. You can nicely brush it and it's nice. So even the horse doesn't want hard water. So shouldn't we as human beings make sure that we have soft, pure water? Hard water. The quality of water to be used. Hard water is neither fit to use as a detergent nor as a diluent. Its unfitness for external use upon the body is readily perceived by whoever applies it for any length of time. For the skin, which is in its healthy conditions, is soft and velvety to the touch, and feels to one who has the sense of touch nicely developed, as if it were covered with oil and then rubbed with the softest material till it is polished like mahogany. When it is washed for any length of time in hard water, loses that softness and acquires in its stead a roughness and harshness, which is very unpleasant to the sight and to the touch. And I'm going to use the term that we use in the Caribbean. Not only does it get dry, but it looks scaly, as we would say. It's dry and itchy and rough and scaly. As females, we do not want that type of skin. So what is hard water? Hard water is water that contains salts of calcium and magnesium, principally as bicarbonates, chlorides, and sulfates. Hard water, running brook, a living spring, a bubbling, boiling well. Compared to stagnant, soft water in a cistern, soft water is superior. And based on all the information that was just given, we can clearly see that soft water is superior to hard water. Signs of hard water. Hard water does not easily lather with soap. It leaves a lot of scum, some whitish deposits in the bathtubs and sinks. Boiled hard water leaves some lime scale residue, which can cause pipes to block over time. Signs of hard water. If the hard water has ferrous ions, it may leave some reddish brown stains, even on clothing after laundry or on the bathroom enamel surfaces. Hard water on and in the human body. It may cause nasal catheter, mucus buildup. It can cause dyspepsia, sore throat, liver inactivity, piles, shriveled muscle, hardened arteries because of too much calcium. Effects of hard water on the skin. Housewives who have their hands much in water know the difference between the effects upon their skin of hard and soft water. In one instance, the skin of their hands becomes dry and readily cracks, making them sore. In the other, the hands are soft, the skin pliable and smooth. And I actually had someone that was faced with this situation where the hands become so dry that it started cracking, and I had to put the person on a little salve for the hands to heal, which they did heal up nicely. So we have to be very careful. If we see our hands are really getting dry, it's dry to the point where it starts cracking, we need to check our water. Again, it is a very great mistake, therefore, on the part of persons who are in health, ever to use hard water for purposes of bathing. And however desirable it is to have what in common language is known as living water, whether from a running brook or living spring or bubbling, boiling well, over water which is stagnant by having been gathered and confined in a reservoir, still the difference is in favor of the latter when it is soft and the running water is hard. The skin, the effects of the hard water on the skin. Thus, if a family has near its dwelling a living spring of hard water, and in one corner of the house a well-built cistern in which water from the clouds is caught and kept pure, the fact that the rainwater has been for some time confined in a cistern, while the water from the spring is constantly fresh, does not overthrow the superiority of the rainwater. Its softness being a quality which makes up for any lack of freshness that it may have. To satisfy one that this view is correct, it needs only to be used for the purpose of bathing a sufficient length of time to show its effects. When we bathe in the hard water, it doesn't take long to see the effects. It doesn't take long to see the dryness. It doesn't take long to become itchy. Now, what is pH? I mentioned the word a pH scale. So we're going to look at that. What is pH? pH is a measure of acid and or alkaline balance in a substance. The pH level is a number that measures how acidic or alkaline a substance is on a scale of 0 to 14. 0 to 6 is acid, 7 is neutral, 8 to 14 is alkaline, and tap water is supposedly 7. We were told to drink soft, pure water. Tap water is coming in neutral at 7. So what makes soft or hard water? Let us look at the pH scale. 7 is neutral. As I just said, 1 to 6 is acidic. And when we go 8 to 14, it's alkaline. Now, let us look at the water. When we look at neutrality is 7, increasing acidity 0 to 6, and we look at 8 to 14 and see where certain things that we use, where they fall. Now, when we look at milk, we can see here, we have the normal range pH of 7, and we see milk right up there. Okay, just before we hit to 6. And we have right here between 5 and 6, the normal range of precipitation pH. We have between 4 and 5, fish reproduction affected, because now it's getting really acidic. And we can see here, what's at number 3? Vinegar. And between 3 and 4, our adult fish will die, right? Too acidic. Lemon juice coming in at number 2. And of course, battery acid. The battery acid is 1, right? So we have to be very careful. Now today, yes, the pure soft water is good, but with all the things that have been happening and all the chemicals and chemtrail that are being placed in the air, we find now that our rain, even though we talk about acid rain, is very acidic now because of all the chemicals. Now between 8 and 9, we have baking soda and we have seawater coming in at 9. We have milk of magnesia. We have ammonia at 12 and we have lye at 13. Hence one of the reasons why I do not use lye when I make soaps. I only make soaps without lye. Lye is not good for the female private part. It changed the acidity of the female private part. And we need that acidity to keep out harmful bacteria, harmful microbes. So when we are using lye as females, some of us are going to realize that when we use soaps that have lye in it, we may get things like yeast infection because we are changing the pH of the female private parts. So we have to be very careful. I know some of us figure, oh, it's okay, it's no problem. But again, we have to be very careful. And also our skin. Our skin has to be acidic, again, to prevent microbes from entering our body. Why do we want to use lye soaps to change the pH of our skin? Our skin is the largest organ. When we do that, we are affecting our health. So of course, when anything is 14, it's very alkaline. We have household lye and bleach and stuff that's coming all the way up there, and ammonia and so forth. We have egg whites coming in just between about 8.2. We have seawater coming in at 8. We have distilled water, which is neutral. Egg yolks getting acidic now. We're coming to about 5.5. We have orange juice between 4 and 5, more acidic. We have vinegar at 3. And we have the battery acid. It's just before we hit to the 1 mark. So we know that it's very acidic, very, very acid. Lemon juice, of course, is acid. The pickle processing, persons that love to eat their pickles, and persons that love to drink alcoholic beverages such as beer, again, very acidic. Okay, and we have pure rain. The pure rain is coming in at about 5.5. Okay, so we have to make sure that we know our numbers. And I know many people like to go out and buy bottled water. I would say get some litmus paper. They're very inexpensive, and check the pH of your water, your bottled water. Know what it is you're putting into your bodies. Not only that, read the label on your water. Many of the bottled waters today, they have in sodium bicarbonate. So please know what you're drinking, what you're consuming. Buy some litmus paper, those pH paper, they're very cheap. You could get them for 3 something to 5 something. Sometimes even the dollar store has them. And you could take a litmus strip and test your water that you have purchased to know what the pH is. Whether it's highly acidic, whether it's too alkaline, check the pH. So water in nature. Aquarium fish and hard water. We have guppies, mollies, the platies, and the swordtails, including various crossbred species like the betters and paradise fish, African and Central American chitlins, and we have brackfish, the archers, the monos, and the scats. These will not survive in soft and or acid water. Okay. Then we have tetras, bobs, we have the gouramis, we have the corridorus, the catfish, and angelfish. Now, these, on the other hand, will not survive in hard mineral water. These aquarium fish here, they love soft water. So most aquatic animals and plants, coral reefs, have adapted to life in water with a very specific pH and will die from even slight changes. Now, here is what I want us to think about. If the fish, the aquatic animals, will die from a very slight change in pH, why is it we as human beings want to go changing the pH of our bodies, the pH of our skin, the pH of the female private part? We're making ourselves sick. A pH below 4 or above 10 will kill most fish. And very few animals can tolerate waters with a pH below 3 or above 11. Prophecy is fulfilling about water changes. And Hosea 4 verses 1 to 3 tells us, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord had a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away." And we can see that with all the changes happening, and even with the sarcasm weed, that stink thick weed that's now coming up in the sea, it's killing a lot of the fishes. Okay, so we know that changes are actually happening. Prophecies are being fulfilled. Water changes are happening, and it's causing death to the aquatic animals. Zephaniah 1 to 3 tells us, "I will utterly consume all things from off the land, said the Lord. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off the land, said the Lord." The soil influences the mineral content in our food. The ideal pH of soil for the best overall availability of essential nutrients is between 6 and 7. Acidic soils below pH of 6 may have reduced calcium and magnesium, and soil above pH 7 may result in chemically unavailable iron, manganese, copper, and zinc. Manure can raise the pH when the soil is below 6. And it is so important for us to understand these things, especially when we're planting, to know what pH is needed for our vegetables and for our crops to grow. For example, if we're growing tomatoes, tomatoes need calcium-rich soil, right? So we have to make sure that we get that pH to a certain level, because if it's below where there isn't the calcium in there, your tomatoes are not going to grow healthy. You're going to get what we call tomato rot or tomato spots. You're going to see that blot at the bottom of your tomatoes, right? So you have to make sure you add some calcium. One of the things that I learned and that I find is so easy to do Just stick a chalk, go to the dollar store, get some chalk, and just stick a chalk in that pot where you have your tomatoes planted. And just leave it there. Or if you have someone that you know uses eggs and you can get some eggshells, you can use those as well. It is so important for us to understand these things because many times we blame ourselves and say, oh, I do not have a green thumb. It's because we need to understand how the pH can affect what we're planting as well. Now, compost. So very, very important. And thank God for compost. It gives a good balanced pH. Now, here is the thing. Some of us, we don't pay attention to our compost. We just think, we throw all the waste materials from our vegetables and our fruits in the compost, and that's good enough. Hello, I'm here to tell us we need a balance. We need some browns in there. We need some greens in there. Put some sawdust, put some husk from the coconut, put some greens in there. When you cut the grass, put some greens in there. If you're a person that prune your roses, put some greenery in there. All that would help. And here is how it helps. Some people, they throw out the compost and it reeks. It's lighting up the neighborhood. You could smell it. If you do what I'm telling you, put some browns and some greens, it will not have that odor. You have created the balance that you need. So do not just go throwing things because we want to have, that balanced pH and to have some compost. Do it in a proper manner where your neighbor next door doesn't have to be, holding his nose because your compost smells so strong. Okay? But don't worry, I'll be coming with some gardening tips at some point. So pH levels in the human body. Human life requires a tightly controlled pH level in the serum or blood of about 7.4, a slightly alkaline range of 7.35 to 7.45 to survive. So let us look at the pH of selected fluids, organs, and membranes. When we look at the skin, natural pH is between 4 and 6.5. Of course, that is needed because we need to have a barrier protection from microbes. The urine is between 4.6 to 8.0 because, again, it helps to limit the overgrowth of microbes. The gastric, 1.35 to 3.5 because of the fact that it needs to be able to break down protein. Bile, 7.6 to 8.8, neutralizes stomach acid and help to aid in digestion. The pancreatic fluid, 8.8, also helps to neutralize stomach acid and to aid in digestion. Now, here we go. Vaginal fluid must be less than 4.7 to limit the overgrowth of opportunistic microbes. You do not want to kill off those bacteria down there to keep things healthy down there. Okay, so stay away from those lysols. Cerebrospinal fluid, 7.3, bathes the exterior of the brain. The intracellular fluid, 6.0 to 7.2, due to acid production in cells. Then we have the serum venous, 7.35, tightly regulated, and the serum arterial, 7.4, which is tightly regulated. So you can see why we say between a 7.35 to a 7.45 in order to survive. So the blood pH now, the blood needs to maintain a tight range of 7.35 to 7.45. There are a variety of factors that can affect the blood pH. For example, what is ingested? If we are vomiting, have diarrhea, have lung function issues, endocrine function, kidney function, or urinary tract infection, those things can throw off or affect the blood pH. Extracellular fluid pH. 20% in our bloodstream, 80% in connective tissue surrounding our cells. So we need to maintain a pH of 7.4. Note, the human body adequately balances acid and alkaline levels. So when we hear that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, it is true. The human body adequately balances the acid and alkaline levels within the body. But here is the problem. If we are adding things and we keep on adding things to make it dip to one side and to be too alkaline, we are creating problems for the body. For example, continued digestion of sugars, starches, lipids, and undigested protein leaving the stomach in the duodenum requires an alkaline environment of greater than 7.45 in order to digest grains, ground provision, fried potato, fried fish, peanut butter, oils, eggs, cheese, dairy, undigested chicken, fish, meat, beans, and simple sugars, etc. Now, the blood carries the elements needed to make bicarbonate in the duodenum. The pancreas also produces bicarbonate depending on the amount needed. So pancreatic enzymes operate only in an alkaline solution. So we need to maintain the pH in the body. Body enzymes need a precise pH to work properly. If the pH is more or less than required, the enzymes will not work. A deranged body pH is catastrophic. Why am I getting a tongue tie now? Is catastrophic. It can cause damage to the body organs, such as the kidneys, the heart, and the brain. So when we are doing things that making our body too alkaline or making our bodies too acidic, we are causing damage to our organs, and especially our kidneys, heart, and brain. So please do not follow the myths that are going around. Like I said before, do your own research. It's important because we need to know how this body temple functions so that we can do the things that are best for us. And use soft water for drinking and bathing purposes. They should be comparatively well and happy instead of dragging out a miserable existence. We do not need hard water on our skin. Use the soft, pure water for drinking and bathing, because whatever water we bathe in, it enters the body. At least 2 cups of that water enters our body. And the use of soft water for drinking and bathing purposes, they should be comparatively well and happy instead of dragging out a miserable existence. Even for the babies, soft, pure water. So avoid drinking water with a pH above 7.45. Get near to the rainwater of 5.5. Avoid eating flesh foods, chicken, beef, pork, crab, lobster, fish, conch. Avoid eating dairy, cheese, butter, animal milk, eggs, ice cream, and avoid eating sugar. Eat some raw lettuce. Eat some raw fruits which contain pure water. Drink, bathe, cook with soft water. Harvest rainfall into your tanks. God's gift of water is freely made available to all, every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. Water from the clouds, if kept in a well-built cistern and kept pure, is superior than water from a spring which is constantly fresh. And that's from Dr. Jackson, Laws of Life, April 1860. Rainwater harvesting. You can connect PVC pipes from the roof of your home into clean tanks. You can filter the water for dust particles. And here is a video that we can look at for a demonstration. Rainwater harvesting, our home system tour. And this is with Joe Mooney. Let's hope that it shows. Did I share? I don't think I did share volume at the time. And then that's going to mean I'm going to have to stop to go back to do that. Okay, so you can take a screenshot and you can watch this video to show you how to do rainwater harvesting. So ways to purify water. Find out what is in your water in your area and then utilize the appropriate method to treat it. Example, does it contain heavy metals or bacteria? And ways to purify water. Activated carbon filter. Water passes through a carbon block, removes pesticides and chlorine, and they have different stages, right? I love the 15th stage, especially for the shower. So you can buy whatever stage you're comfortable with. They have some that are less, but I prefer the 15th stage to know that it's going through a lot of process before it comes out. And then you have simple water filter that you can use to remove debris or particles. So that is why, even though I have the whole house filtration system, I still added the activated carbon filter. Ways to purify water. Now the sunlight disinfection method. Expose your water to direct sunlight to purify water. You see how good God is? Not only are we getting pure, soft water, but he has given us sunlight to disinfect, to purify our water. If we just expose the water to direct sunlight, it will purify in approximately 6 hours on a clear sunny day. On a cloudy day, it would take about 2 days. Also boiling, bring the water to a rolling boil for 1 minute. You can kill off the microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, and parasites. Heads up. How many glasses of water do you usually drink per day? What is a good amount of water for the average person to drink per day? Drink water until your urine is pale yellow to clear. Drink 16 ounces to 32 ounces of warm water upon awakening in the mornings. This will open the appetite and prepare the stomach for digestion. The warmth will also expand the intestines and cause a nice bowel movement. Now, this water that you're drinking early in the morning, this is not water that we want you to sip, but water that we want you to drink down, because we want it to do a flush and remove the toxins in the body, right? So this is water that you will drink, and you drink all of it. Not the sip method with the 1 to 2 mouthfuls. So how does one drink water? 2 mouthfuls at a time. The cells will absorb the water and be properly hydrated. Gobbling down would increase the intraocular eye pressure and affect the eyes and cause one to go to the bathroom too often. Now, drink water 15 to 30 minutes before a meal and 2 hours after a meal. Now, for those suffering with digestive problems, drink 30 minutes before a meal. And I would say if you have acid reflux as well, do the 30 minutes before a meal. I am here to tell us that water is powerful. It's not just drinking the water. When we drink the water, it's also very helpful. If we drink water before we take a bath, it can help to lower our blood pressure. If we drink water Now, I'm not saying to go and drink water late at nights to keep you up going to the bathroom, because we try to finish everything by 6:30. But if you make sure you get in that last drink of water, it can prevent you from having a heart attack while sleeping. So water is very powerful and it's so important to our survival. What kind of water do you usually drink per day? What would you say constitutes good, healthy water? Drink clean, treated water. Is your water filtered? What water filters would you recommend and why? A charcoal filter removes most contaminants and make the water taste good. That is true. But here is my recommendation for filters, because this is what I followed. Based on your zip code, your contaminants are going to be different. The person who tested the water from the government agency, they will have suggestions as to the best filters you can use based on the types of contaminants in your water and in your area based on your zip code. So it's always good to follow that as well. So at least you know you're protected from those contaminants that normally lurk in your zip code in your area. At what temperature do you drink your water? How does the temperature of the water affect the stomach? Drink water at room temperature. Cold water needs to be warmed up to body temperature before being absorbed. Warm water expands the intestines and signals the need for food, whereas cold water restricts the intestines and shuts down the desire for food. If you feel hungry at night, drink cold water. If you feel you must eat at night, take a drink of cold water, and in the morning, you will feel much better for not having eaten. And that's counsel from the servant of the Lord, E.G. White. You eat ice? Are you craving ice? This can be a sign of what mineral deficiency? One is usually iron deficient if they crave ice. Such person may also be anemic. So anytime you see a person craving ice and eating ice, crushing it down, that's because they have a deficiency, they're craving ice, okay? And such person may be anemic as well. How many glasses of juice do you drink per day? What are some dangers of drinking too much juice? Juice is robbed of the essential fiber that is needed for the body. There is a need to be mindful of sugar intake through juice. One is more likely to eat and drink when using juice, and that's because of the sugar content. We're better off eating the fruits than drinking fruit juices. Do not eat and drink at the same time. The liquid dilutes the gastric juice, then the food sits in the stomach and ferments, causing indigestion, acid reflux, and bad breath. And I'm going to add something to this because this is true as well. When you practice eating and drinking, and especially if you're doing hot food, cold drink, you're causing hairline fractures in your teeth. And eventually one day you'll be sitting down chewing and you're going to realize something hard. Your tooth just broke. And that's because of that practice of eating and drinking. Soups are lethal. They destroy the kidneys. And that is why we don't practice using soups with that long water and then the vegetables cut up in it, because it's the same like eating and drinking. Instead of using soups, we use stews instead, not liquid. The sourness in the stomach will come right through the mouth when we do the eating and drinking. Also, we get bloating from that practice because of indigestion. Your stomach was not receiving the vigor that it should from your food. Taken in a liquid state, Your food would not give healthful vigor or tone to the system. But when you change this habit and eat more solids and less liquids, your stomach will feel disturbed. Withstanding this, you should not yield to the point. You should educate your stomach to bear a more solid diet. And that's from Counsels on Diets and Foods, page 105, paragraph 1. Now, how many cans and/or bottles of sodas per day? List some of the dangers of consuming these items. First of all, there is too much sugars in these items. What liquid do you drink? What are some problems with the following beverages? Some of us from the Caribbean, we have to drink this tea and we want tea every day. I am here to tell us that tea contains phenolic tannins, which prevents the absorption of iron, which leads to anemia. So continuous use of tea can let you become anemic. Tea also destroys your vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 deficiency leads to Parkinson's disease, neuralgia, glaucoma, and depression. Alcohol promotes high blood pressure. It's toxic to the heart, muscle, excess calories. It stores as fat in the liver. It depresses respiratory functions and causes irreparable brain damage. So you see, drinking alcohol is not a good thing. Becoming an alcoholic is surely not a good thing, because brain damage that cannot be repaired, who wants that? We all want to function and to be in good health, right? So let us be very mindful that when we're consuming these things, the damages that we're doing to our bodies, our body temple, and to our organs. So what liquid do you drink? What are some problems with the following beverages? Beer. This contains alcohol and can lead to the need for stronger stimulating drink. And that's the thing. A person starts with a beer, and the beer is going to call its uncle and its aunt to the stronger drinks. Next thing you know, you're doing alcohol and maybe move on to other things as well, and can lead to other addictions as well, because they're going to call the other things. When you drink soda, that excessive sugar intake produces unbalanced nutrition, extra fat storage, uneven blood sugar, delayed digestion. Phosphoric acid depletes calcium from bones. So you're making your bones porous as well. So what are some problems with the following beverages? Continued. We're going to look at animal milk. You know, you see many ads on television. Milk, it does the body good. And telling you you get vitamin D from milk. Animal milk has high fat and cholesterol. It has no fiber. It burdens the system. It causes allergies. It turns on the cancer gene. It triggers diabetes. It afflicts the prostate, and high protein intake, along with other sources of protein, leaches calcium from the bones. And I was looking at a research just recently, and they're saying that they find that persons that drink milk for long periods of time, animal milk that is, that they find a lot of them are coming up with type 1 diabetes. Now, the other thing that I want to tell us, the cow's stomach is not a one-chamber stomach like ours. We have a one-chamber stomach. The cow and its calf, they do not. So the calf can actually digest the mother's milk, but our one-chamber stomach cannot. So what our bodies would do is to create antibodies because there are things in the animal milk that's foreign to our bodies. So it creates antibodies and try to fight. And that is why we find a lot of us that we find that the children, they have allergies, they're lactose intolerant, and so on and so forth. Are we aware that we are the only ones that believe that as we get older, we need to continue drinking milk? Do you see animals continuing to drink milk as they get older? The only milk that we need is what God provided for us as babies. Get some breast milk, and after we are weaned, we don't need no animal milk. And here, that is where the problems comes in, because we think that we need to continue the process of the animal milk. And we have a one-chamber stomach. Our stomach is not like that of the cow and the calf. So we are unable to break down things in that animal milk. Now, what is your physiological reason why we should not drink with our meals? Liquid must first be absorbed before solids can begin digestion. As a result, when food sits in the stomach too long, fermentation takes place and the food sours. We just cause our food to rot by eating and drinking. What color is your urine normally? What color should your urine be in the morning upon waking up? Urine should be pale yellow even upon waking up. Drink enough water throughout the day. Medication, however, can impair the color of the urine. So if you're on medication, the color may not be that pale yellow. Now that you are educated on this matter, I'm appealing to you, go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come on today. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Ephraim. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was a lot of information. And for those who are asking, the recording is available on YouTube. Do we have any questions? We have 4 minutes for questions before we begin. Brother Bob is here with us and he'll be presenting on stress, distress, and eustress. But I know somebody has some questions. Dr. Ephraim, I just want to tell you something. The highlights of this is off the charts, and we're not going back into it, but for those who joined us late, when you spoke about distilled water, and a lady in the chat said she purchased a distiller, okay, because she wants to drink the right water. How does a distiller fit into all of this? Just real quickly, just could you tell us, is that something we should all do?
I would say no, because the distilled water is still a burden on our kidneys. So we have to be very careful. And that is why I said before, it's important for us to do our research and know what we're putting in our bodies. A lot of things are going to tell you that they're good. And that's how society gets us, by putting these things out there, advertising them, or persons bothering us constantly to tell us, oh, we should buy this, we should buy that. I always say, seek counsel from the great physician and do your research.
Awesome. So you mentioned the kidneys, and I was going to bring that up next, because so many people now are coming up with kidney issues. And when you mentioned that alkaline water, which the commercialization of alkaline water is off the charts, and everybody's thinking alkaline water is really good for you because it prevents your body from succumbing to diseases. But you're telling us that the effects of alkaline water and even mineral water on the kidney or the liver is very dangerous. Now, you said that it also affects our bones and our teeth, digestion and absorption. That's a whole lot. So for those who were not here earlier, when she started talking about how alkaline water, which you pay so much money for, if you think about it, purchasing regular spring water would have been much better, much cheaper. But then here we go, we're purchasing the alkaline water, the mineralized water, and we're using these things. And instead of helping our system, it's actually hurting us. The next thing is, you talk about the hair. You know, if you live in Florida, the water in Florida, the well water, no, I guess it's everywhere, but especially there's also a place in Tennessee where you mentioned the water smells really bad, like egg, and it's a sulfur that's in the water, and that water can really hurt you. And if it builds up plaque in your pipe, in your faucet, imagine what it's doing in your body. So I'm grateful beyond words for this seminar, and I'm thanking God that it is on YouTube. And I also wanted to mention about hard water, the good thing that God has given us the opportunity to have our rainwater, which is not hard water, to be soft. And apparently the longer you have your rainwater, it falls, you harvest it, it's actually better than running water from a brook. That is amazing to me.
That is
And I'm
truly
glad that the
amazing.
science, yes.
And the
One
sunlight.
last question.
What about the sunlight? You know,
Yes,
giving it
the
the
sunlight, that
exposure to
purifies the
sunlight
water.
purifies the water.
You know, we used to see our grandparents doing that in the islands.
In the
Wonder,
Caribbean.
why would they put, water in a glass and put it out in the sun? And what's the big difference? And now we know all the benefits. And so here we are. We have a few questions. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as we can. We have 2 minutes, but we want to also give Brother Bob enough time to go through, because the presentation he's coming with is, I know I don't have to even hear it. I've never heard it, but I know it's going to be off the chart. So quick questions right here. Somebody wanted the screenshot for 120, slide number 120. Does warm water in the morning has to be room temperature or hot? It has to be warm. Room temperature is cool, or, it's not warm. It should be warm water, as warm as you can take it without burning yourself, because it flushes the kidneys, right, Dr. Ephraim? And the
Correct.
liver. It just flushes your system through. If you put your lemon water with that, squeeze your lemon juice in that, it will actually work to flush your arteries, and all that your body flushed out during the course of the night will just come out in your pee. And that's when you gulp your water. That's when you go gulp, 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 because you're flushing the system. All right. That's the only time we're allowed to gulp water. And that's when it's warm and you can drink a whole 2-3 cups at the same time, first thing in the morning.
Sorry,
Okay.
you
Next.
went back too far. Could you go back to slide 119, please?
Oh, 119.
Yeah, she wanted to slide on T, and yeah. Next one. One more. There you go, right there.